All right, I have the Thirard Axira. It's I think it's the follow-up to the Thirard Cobra. So it's the same. I believe it's the same lock. I should have researched it before I started this. I think the only difference is this one has this interactive element on it. I could be wrong. In any case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins around the outside, and then there's an interactive element in the middle that that's kind of interesting. There's a pin on the bottom that will push against this this thing here, and based on how far that pin pushes determines how far this thing will push the middle pin in, because the middle pin there at the back also is a locking element. So this is another one of those French locks I received yesterday, and unfortunately, like, oh, okay, unfortunately, like that other one, it's also in this this Euro format, and I can't gut it. Even though I took out this, there's a grub screw here I took out, but then inside there's like this hollow pin, and I can't get that to come out at all. If somebody knows how to deal with it, that'd be great to know. In any case, you can look at some other Thirard Cobra videos. They show you what it looks like taken apart. I think the Lock's Nest has a nice one for that. It's a pump lock, so you got to put this in. You see the springs, and you got to push it all the way in, and then you can go ahead and activate it. I'll pick it to 1, maybe 2 steps, but to pick this all the way, I'm guessing you'd have to pick it maybe 5 times, maybe 6. I don't know, I haven't done it. To tension it, that was the tricky part. When I was just learning it, I just push on this little flag here, and that gives me some tension. But then I had to think about how to tension it. Well, there's that post on the bottom there, right? It doesn't do anything other than stop the interactive element from going past a certain distance. So I figure I could tension off of that, like that, okay? The problem with this is that now I can't access this pin right here. Maybe we'll get in closer, like that. Then I can't access this pin right here. All right. So what that means is maybe I could do this, and then I have to find some way to tension off the right side so I can mess with that pin. The problem is you can't tension off that same post there, right? Because the reason I'm tensioning is because I can push down against that post. And I can't go into one of these channels here until I push down on one of these pins. So by doing it here and working on those pins, that's going to open up these channels a bit more, and I have a way to tension off those. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give a little bit of tension. This thing doesn't take much tension at all, actually. So I'm going to give a little tension, and then I'm going to, the first one to go is this one in the middle. None of the pins on the outside look like tension. None of the pins on the, oh, let me not be pushing on it. None of the pins on the outside. Oh, look at this. I'm lying, aren't I? Well, they shouldn't be binding until you get that middle one to the right depth. I don't know what I'm doing. I wasn't doing it before. Now all of a sudden, it's making a liar of me. But you basically have to put some tension, and then you can push on this middle one. There you go. It's got like 2 clicks there. Oh, and it goes a little bit further than that. So 1, 2, and I found that I have to push it to the second one for anything to work. Maybe that's trial and error, but it doesn't feel different than the first click. So first click on that. Come on, first click on that. It's binding hard, and then, geez, why am I having such a hard time? And now it's not binding hard, is it? Making a liar of me left and right. Let's go ahead and reset it. That's another thing. Nothing seems to drop when you let go of tension. You kind of have to reverse on it to get it to drop things. So let's go ahead and tension it again and push on it again. So it's binding hard. Oh, come on. Binding hard, and I'll push on it. My goodness. Don't tension on the bottom pin. a mess I'm making of this, huh? All right, got to click out of it. I'm thinking about starting this video over again, but it's good to see what's going on. In any case, once you have that to the right position, you'll start to get binding on these side pins. If you don't have it at the right position, you shouldn't be binding on these side pins yet. So we'll go ahead and click that down. Usually when I'm picking, I can actually see what I'm doing. I think I'm pushing on it, right? All right, I'm gonna assume it's down, and we'll go ahead and start picking because we're almost 6 minutes in. I haven't even started yet. All right, I'm gonna start with the bottom right one here. It's binding hard, so I clicked it once. It's binding hard. Clicked it twice. It's binding hard. You might let off the tension a little, let it pop up again, because you might have pushed it down, and I feel like these are a bit tapered or something like that, or act like tapered. It could get stuck down on the next gate. All right. Now I have jiggle quite a bit. So that one's set. So now I'll go to the next one. Click, click, and jiggle. Test the first one again, jiggle. Now, if you use too much tension, you're not going to get out of these false gates. So I'm almost not even touching, I'm almost not even pushing on the tensioner. All right, this top one, click. And now I'm hard in a false gate. Click. And now jiggle. This guy here is a bit deceptive. All right, so he's springy. So the one underneath here is going to go next. So what I can do is I can slide this down and turn it. Now, of course, it's not going to work for me now. Why would it? Nothing's working for me today. Let me try to get my head in the right spot. What's going on? This worked for me a whole mess before. All right, there we go. So now I got some tension from this side. Reach around like that. We'll go after this pin here. This is binding. So click, click, click. A little jiggle. I don't think that's right. Let me go for another click, click. There we go, a lot of jiggle. Sorry, my hands seem to be getting in the way. And now I'll go for see if this one's binding. All right, indeed, now this one's binding. This one was not binding before, so click. And now a lot of jiggle. All right, so everything is probably more or less set. Let's check this one again. Binding. So it's they're acting kind of like tapered. You gotta be pushed down a little bit more. Now this guy's binding. Okay, he's free. This guy, he's binding. Binding hard. All right, now he's free. This guy is binding pretty hard. He's free. I got a little bit of movement on the core. So free, free, binding, free, and there we go. It's rotating. But you see it clicks into the next one, and then you'd have to pick it again, right? So basically same thing, put some tension down here and go at it again. But, you know, I spent a lot of time in the intro. You could potentially, knowing that these things are a bit further down, you could start off with one of the pins, you know, like that if you wanted. Let's see if the middle has to be pushed. No. Anybody binding? Okay, this is binding. Click, click. Jiggly. Click. Jiggly. Jiggly. And then, you know, you'd switch your tensioner to another channel. So it's kind of like you're just putting at this weird, you're going into that gap there and just kind of putting tension on it. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time doing this with the camera in the way. So like that, right? And then you'll be able to go after the pins on, well, there's no pin here. All right, this pin here, click, you know, and so on. Jiggly. But that's basically how you go after this. Obviously not ideal because you have to pick it so many times, but that's the nature of any of these kind of tubulars. What I would do is after picking it one way, I'd leave it halfway to the next notch, and then you can go ahead and you can take something and you can decode all your depths. Just put this down, put a notch, and then you'd have your depths, and you could just encode your own key that way. So all you would really have to do is pick it once, and then you'd have the lock decoded at that point. So rather than having to pick it over and over and over again. So that's the Thirard Axira. Also the Cobra, I think, would be exactly the same way. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye.